back on the inside. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kareem.
Morning.
And welcome to another ladies' room, another week. I hope everyone had a good weekend. How was your weekend, Kareem?
This weekend was actually busy. It was busy doing what I love, so
Busy?
can't really
Y'all are
complain.
outside, like events outside and stuff?
Yeah. Did one
Okay.
Friday night. It was packed. Saturday was good as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Last night was more on the hotel side. So.
No, okay, nice. Yeah, I had a good one celebrating with the boss lady.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had a ball of a time. Wow. The music was just right. You know, the energy, you know, the folks who were here, it was just a good combination. So I want to say belated birthday to Denise Parkland-Gine. I don't have to ask if she had a good one. She certainly did.
I was just gonna say I know she did because that speech at the end there.
Listen,
That
you
was
missed
moving.
everything. That was you missed a whole lot. You missed a whole lot. You had good music and you know, good company and you know, good food and juice. Big up yourself, mixologist. Yeah, well, I know what juice makes for me. All I know is send by the bar and I say juice. Give me something with no alcohol. Just do whatever you want to do. I had
that
whatever
was
he
it.
did. I had 5 of those. It was really good. So they said juice is officially what the boss lady said. Juice is our official bartender. So whatever we doing, Juice, you're the man. Yeah. So just all you have to take Juice out of soca and put him in bar. But it was really good. It was really good. So before we start, there's something that I really want to share quickly. A bit of news that I just saw, and it's funny that I started writing a piece last night and I finished it this morning that I was going to share early this morning. I'm like, you know what, let me just put up the ladies' room and then I'm going to share that piece that I wrote. And it's to do with depression. I wrote a bit on that on depression, and I just saw something that literally made my heart stop for a second, because you know, so many are going through stuff that we probably, especially now, it's listen, now more than ever, if you did not have strength, you gotta like really dig deep and pull out whatever you had, you know, like stored up for times like these. We gotta dig really deep lately to find strength, because there's a lot going on with COVID. Lots displaced, no work. I mean, some might make it seem like it's easy and life is nothing changed for some, but for others, their whole lives have changed. You know, the way we do things, you know, the way, you know, the little ends used to make meat. It's hard for a lot of people. And you might see folks smiling and thinking, you know, hey, never always smiling, never nothing to worry about. We just don't know what's going on. And it's alleged, according to MTV News, that 2 young children were saved by their father this morning after their mother allegedly attempted to throw them into the sea around the stadium area. Well, she's since been arrested and charged, and the children are reportedly safe with their father. That's all we have for now. Later on, they're saying we're gonna get more details. But I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it, I literally froze for a minute, thinking, you know, what could probably have happened to cause you to want to end the lives of your 2 children? What's going on internally? What's been going on for the past couple weeks, months, whatever, to get to this point where you think, you know what, the best thing to do is to throw my children into the sea? And this is a judgment-free zone, and no judgment, because I don't know what's going on. I don't know why or how or what, but I just know that mental health is more real than we make of it. We often think that mental health is when we see somebody digging in a bin, or they're, you know, walking the road and in a state of, you know, they're on chem, they're smelling bad and stuff like that, or they've been committed to a, what we call the pink house. We seem to think that, you know, that's the only time when, you know, it's really bad, but there are a lot of people masking what they're going through, and deeply depressed and stressed and all sorts of things. And you don't know when it could be triggered. No, I don't know the rationale. I don't know the reason why she did it. But, you know, I'm just going on. What could possibly possess a mother, not 1, but 2 of your children, to throw them in the sea? And being arrested and charged is one thing, but I hope that we're gonna have somebody, psychologist, therapist, whatever, working with her, because that's not that's not the action of a sane, okay, normal person. You don't just get up and decide today, I'm okay, I'm fine, everything is good in my world, I'm just gonna throw my children in the sea. Some might say, well, probably she should have other options. Why not drop them off by the police station or drop them at home or whatever? But you just don't know what goes into the mind of somebody who's deeply, deeply disturbed. And I think a lot of emphasis needs to be placed on mental health. We don't treat mental health seriously or with much, like it's just a passing thing. There's a mental health day, you observe it, there's a theme, and then you move right along. But one of the things that I wrote in my piece is that we have to normalize people seeking help, seeking therapy, speaking to a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist, whatever. We have to normalize that, because way too often we seem to think that if you do that, means you're far gone and you're a crazy person. At the end of the day, there are some who are better able to handle a situation than others. Something that you might just shrug off. Another person, it could crack. Another person could crack at the sight, at the slightest thing, while others are able to endure more. We aren't all built the same way, so you can't make fun of somebody who you think may be weak because they're not handling a situation that you probably think you would handle a certain way. We are not constructed. We are not built the same way. So I always say that, when you hear of people taking their lives or what have you, and people say they're weak, I think that is strength. Because we've all gone through trying times. I've had my depressed moments, and you sat there and you're like, I really can't do this anymore. I really, really can't do this anymore. I'm checking out. And you start thinking of all the ways, formulating all the ways in your mind how you're going to end your life. And you're like, nah, boy. Whether it's, by news or whatever it is, however you choose, you sit and you think of all the ways you've heard of people doing it, and you sit there and you start planning. I'm sure at one point in our lives, a lot of us have sat and actually thought of ways to end our lives. And you get to the point and you're like, okay, should I do it like that? Or should I? Like, nah, Jared.
Or sometimes it just doesn't happen. Like, sometimes you plan it out so perfectly.
And you're like, nah, I can't do that. But how am I doing that? How? Like, so I really can't call people who do that weak. It takes a lot of strength to sit and say to yourself,
come overnight.
Today is the day. Today is the day. I'm departing this life. I'm done with it. It takes a lot of strength to sit and do that. So, and I know our tolerance when it comes to people having issues. We make fun of people, we bully people, we don't know what they're going through daily, but you bully them. And I mean, I could raise all the hands I have for, being bullied and constantly being harassed. And, people think it's a joke that, you just go out there every day and you'll make fun of people and you'll say things about people, whether true, whether false, whether you add some things in it. And you see people laughing and enjoying that. And you just don't know if that is the stick that will break the camel's back, if that is, that will tip the person over the edge. And we make fun of it. We make fun of it. We're happy to see other people in distress. And we do
it a lot on social media as well. Like, somebody will be battering somebody and bringing them down, and all kind of 1 point something comments saying yes, I agree, laughing, kiki, it's just so funny. But what I realize here is that people down here, they take depression to mean sadness. They think if just someone says they're suffering from depression, they think you're sad. But I've had a couple experiences with a depressed person, and listen, it is a total different ball game. Like, they would just be there one moment, y'all smiling, laughing, having a good time, and then the next minute, out of nowhere, it's like boom, they just sink right down. Or sometimes you could say like the slightest thing, and it triggers so many things that you didn't even bargain for, and And not everybody, even in relationships and stuff like that, not everybody could handle that. You know, sometimes you think, well, she just acting up, man, or she just think, but listen, it is a sickness just like cancer and HIV and all these things.
It is.
It is a sickness, you know, and especially now, like,
And if
we
not
don't
treated,
know.
could be worse.
Yeah, we don't know what people are going through. Like, I heard of this instance in the market. For example, just one example, where someone was doing a little sale to feed a family and so on. And apparently the police gave her until a certain time. And she was basically saying, well, officer, if I don't stay the balance of the day, I won't make enough to feed the family. But the officers, they had their job to do, you know? And her pressure went up. She passed out, you know, because there she was trying to explain that, hey, if I don't make till the end of the day, there's no way I could take care of my family, you know? And this is what COVID has done. Things were already so bad. Right now, where's the unemployment rate? Over 60%.
Over 60%.
You understand? Not everyone that is walking around now. Alcohol sales have gone up. Weed sales have gone up.
You know that you smoke weed, yeah?
No, but I mean, you know the business
Yeah,
we're in. You have to be on the ground. You have to
Mm-hmm.
know what's happening. You know, when you see weekend reach, I wanna listen something outside dirty. People just outside, they just want to free up. Even though they have $10 in their pocket, they just want to be somewhere having a good time. We looking at carnival and it's the season and all of that. Listen, people are stressed out, just about to fall over the precipice. You know, sometimes I look at music in their head with a little DJ talking and thing. Just that little hour, 2 hours experience would be enough to probably get them through the Saturday, the following day. You know, job applications going on like crazy. You understand? So not everyone that walking around, they are having the best time. Even business owners.
Everybody's stressed.
Now you don't have it like before. Before you could just go and take out a little 5K in the bank and spend on a weekend and there's nothing. You understand? One of my friends actually told me yesterday that, you know, Curry, my mom is sick and she's a manager at a hotel, you know. But she's telling me, you know, she had to sell some of her property just to try and take care of the medical bills and stuff like that. She just doesn't have it anymore, you know. So I mean, in this particular situation that we're speaking about right now, I mean, it hit hard for me. You know my story. It hit kind of hard for me. When I saw you post it, I was like, wow. But at the same time, like you said, arresting is one, but somebody needs to evaluate the situation.
January is saying there's a very thin line between sanity and insanity. Often people underestimate the importance of protecting your mental health. The best of us have experienced things in the past and we've gotten through it, but they can be what we call the straw that breaks the camel's back. We need to be more concerned with affirming each other rather than destroying each other. And I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I can raise all my hands when it comes to, you know, and I think I can safely say 2020 was like my worst year in all my 40 plus years on earth. I mean, and when you think about it, you know, I got to a place where sometimes, you know, you just, things push you over the precipice and then you have to get to that point where you decide, you know what, my mental health, it's the most important thing there is and I'm not gonna compromise when it comes to my mental health. And that is a place that a lot of us need to get to understand that we have to protect your mental health at all costs. Be it situations, be it people, be it family, be it relationships, be it friendships, be it whatever ships, whatever it is that disturbs your peace of mind and your mental state, let it go. Too many times we stay longer in toxic situations than we need to. From the onset, from the get-go, you give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times and tries, and you realize at the end of the day you have anxiety, you're panicky, you're depressed, you have more sad days than good days, you're crying, you're overwhelmed, you're almost everything, and it gets to a point where almost everything bothers you. Even when the day is supposed to be good, the slightest thing triggers you. And you find yourself, you know, feeling overwhelmed and, you know, like you're boxed in and you can't, you know, you just can't deal with anything at all. and then you go to work and then you're acting, and then people like coming to your place of employment and, oh, this person have attitude and they this and they that, and you, all of this you have going on, and you just don't know how to, deal with it. And like I said, we live in a place where we have very little tolerance of people with mental issues. Or someone would say to you, I ain't really feeling good now. I'm feeling kind of down. And your response would be, hey, what you have to worry about? What you have to worry about? We trivialize it. People would see you, okay, like they see you looking strong and being strong in certain situations and think that's the outward appearance. You know how much of an act sometimes you have to put on to show that, hey, I'm good.
No, well,
You're good on the outward, but inwardly you're not.
yeah, I was just about to say, especially in our industry, Runa.
Yeah.
The 1,000+ people that listen to around the world.
I can't come here and tell all
They
y'all
know-
down today. Y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all ain't interested in how good. If I don't, you know what the response would be if you don't want to stay home. What you come here and do?
And if you
come
stay home, you're still wrong.
What you come here to do? You stress us down when you coming on the radio to make us feel more down. We ain't want that from you. Your job is to make us feel good and make us forget what we're going through. So you have to put your stresses or
Aside.
whatever on ice and deal with, people who don't want me ain't put on the radio to hear you sounding down. All right, go back home. When you're feeling better, come back. So it takes, and I'm seeing another good comment here from China. Says we need to stop judge mothers. Too much times when mothers speak out about their frustrations, the public respond, nobody didn't send you. And you're so right about that. You are so right, so right about that. And I just want to encourage people. If you have friends or you have a family member or a coworker or whatever, that person, for whatever reason, they're always chirpy, and whenever you find them, all of a sudden they start withdrawing, they start, not looking too bright or too happy, or you probably might reach out and ask them what's going on, and they tell you they're not doing too good or they're feeling down. Please don't ask them or tell them they have no reasons to be down. You don't know that. Or dismiss it. If you can't provide a shoulder to cry on or say, you know what, okay, I'm here, talk. Sometimes that's all people need, somebody that would talk to them and without judging them. But then again, we live in a culture where I start telling you something, and before I'm through, Deborah know what I told you, Chemo know what I told you, Jackie know what I told you,
That's the
Wendy
thing
know what
about
I
it,
told you,
yeah.
Roseanne know what I told you, Rachel, Patricia, Mariah, everybody on the line know what I told you, Christelle, everybody knew what I told you before I'm even through telling you. So people have this fear of speaking out because there's no confidentiality. You can't trust. You're afraid to open up to people because nothing you say remains in confidence, even though you say to the person, listen, I'm coming
just
to you in
between
confidence,
us,
between
yeah.
you and us. I just need somebody to listen. And don't judge, just listen. Even though you have nothing to add, just listen. And while you're listening, make it worse if you talk to them and you send them a 2 voice note. Your voice note reaching America and come back.
Voice note making pull up.
I'm telling you, your voice note reach all the way in America and come back. So people are afraid to open up and let people know what's going on, because I'm coming to you. If I wanted everybody to know, I'll make a Facebook status. I'll go online and I'll write out whatever I wanted to share with the world. But if I'm coming to you, at least please, at least let me have that moment, The world don't need to know. Oh, she painting and she's stressed. Whether she's stressed over a man, she's stressed over a bill, she's stressed over this or that or the other. So that is a concern of a lot of people who really want to open up, who really want somebody they can, they can
There's no
talk to.
avenue. But what do you think we could do though? Because this is something that we have to deal with
Sheena
as a
says,
nation.
Grenada is a breeding ground for depression. Look at our unemployment and under unemployment rate with no support. Even I myself have to find ways to decompress before I go mad. Said depression comes in many forms. It is extremely difficult to understand and manage. We're living in some serious times. Wendy says that's why we need to reach out to people and ask if they're okay. Not every smiling face is a happy face. What can you do?
And then some people look to the music for consolation and so on, but
Yes,
my
the
God,
music has saved
especially
me
the
and
young
more times that I can count.
yeah, but
I have a go-to playlist when I find
that's your era. Your era delivered music with meaning, music
I have a
that could
go-to.
put you in every single mood. nowadays our version of music, especially for the young people, you go and listen that when you're in a bad place. Listen, it bringing it into a worse place than where it was before, you know. And I would continue to say the music has a lot to do with the violence and the way people react these days.
It has. I'm not gonna deny that. There's
You know, so it's like, well, if the music is out the door now, what else is there? You can't talk to people. You can't go in your corner and listen to some uplifting modern music because it's just a set of badness and this one against this one, and if a boy style here is this and you listening that
And
you
not only that, look at this weekend. I mean, this weekend was marred by deaths. I heard this incident in, was it Richmond Hill?
Oh yeah.
Which resulted in the police shooting one. And the one that was inflicting like
Inflicting,
serious chop
wounds on the
wounds
other one,
according
yeah.
to the news. And even when the police arrived and asked the person to drop their weapon, they continued delivering those chop wounds. I'm not sure if what's the status of the person. Last I heard, they were at the you call it the hospital. They were at the hospital. I didn't receive any further updates. I know the news will be busy later on.
Oh yeah.
Because it's been a busy weekend of news.
Accidents. You see those accidents.
And somebody lost their life. Is it two? Did we have one or two?
The loss of life.
From accident. I think I
believe
had
so.
about one. Yeah, there were one, and then the incident, the chopping incident, and it's.
Oh boy.
That's why I'm saying some of the most mentally ill people in our society are young people, and often when young people say they're stressed, people always seem to think that we don't have chick not chack, so you shouldn't be stressing about anything.
True.
That is the famous last line. You're not chick not chack. What are you worrying about? You ain't know the bank. You ain't do this. You ain't do that. Or if you're stressed, or man stressed, or woman stressed, and there's a lot of things that people internalize that can stress, and especially when you have not identified your stressors and you don't know how to deal with it, it can be very, very, very problematic later on. So it's important to identify the things that stress you and, find ways, coping mechanisms.
Definitely.
And that is the important thing, finding ways to cope with whatever is going on, whether it be through talk therapy, whether it be through music, whether it be through, meditation, finding ways to cope. And I realized talking is one of the better ways of dealing with. I used to be of the opinion that, deal with your stuff by yourself. Whatever is bothering you, you deal with it on your own. But I've had to, realize that talk therapy really helps, because that saying two heads are better than one, and sometimes you might deal with a situation, or you probably be thinking about a situation in a particular way, and then you speak to somebody and they can show you a different perspective, and then you'll be like, you know what, never thought about that. That's the way I can deal with. So I really think talk therapy is one of the ways to cope.
And especially to the young people though, I mean, what I will say is, talking to your peers is one thing, but it's important to have like a few mature adults in your circle, because like, okay, for example, me, like if I'm going through something on work, for example, it's easy for me to talk to one of my boys or something, but I might say, hey Dre, this is what happened, or I might call Storm, the kind of older guys, not only in the business but senior to me as well. So because sometimes when you talk to your peers, you don't really get that advice that you need, the hardcore honesty, because sometimes even though like you're facing a problem or something, you might think that you're right in the situation when someone else gives you a different perspective and say, hey boy, I find you should have pulled up the truth enough. This is what you could do. Oftentimes you find from your peers, you get what you want to hear. Not every time you need what you want to hear. You need to get what you need to know to better yourself, better the situation. So to the young people especially, I mean, just find some mature adults that you could trust, that you could open up to. Even though they hit you with their honesty, don't feel no way, just search yourself. And
I always say that I don't have young friends. People that I associated, they were older than me, so you can
it works,
learn
trust
from
me.
you
It
can
works,
learn from their experience, and but sometimes you have to take a break. You have to detach. Take a break from watching, reading, listening to news stories that are depressing, that are heavy. Sometimes you just have to, including social media. Social media could really depress you more than you know. It's good to be informed, but sometimes hearing about traumatic events and what have you, it could really, really, really be upsetting, you know. So sometimes disconnect from your phone for a couple minutes, from TV, computer, whatever it is. And one thing I've learned is the importance of taking care of self. Whether it's eating healthy. I fell off my exercise train. I've got to get back on. One thing I don't compromise is getting plenty of sleep. People really underestimate the importance of getting plenty of sleep. When you go to sleep, trust me, it can make you feel so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just giving yourself a break if you feel stressed out. A lot of times we are so hard on our own selves. Everything is already difficult, but you are even harder on yourself. So sometimes it's okay to give yourself a break. Give yourself a break and take care of your body. Learn to meditate, take deep breaths, stretch, whatever. Like I said, try to eat healthy, well-balanced meals, as well as, exercise, getting plenty of sleep, and most importantly, alcohol. Too many times people try to drown their problems in alcohol. Alcohol is like a quick fix. You forget it about for now, but when it wears off, the problem is still there. And the thing about it is, wherever you go, there you are. You can't run from your problems. You might think you have a problem here and you say, you know what, let me go with my migraine. Not even the problem here. You're carrying that problem with you. So wherever you go, there you are. Drinking alcohol from first thing in the morning to last thing in the night can be something that will fix your problem. Because what you'll do, you'll keep on drinking. Okay, I'll drink this morning to get rid of last night's problem. And then I'll drink later on this morning to get rid of this morning's. And then I'll drink this afternoon to get rid of the midday. And then I'll drink in the evening to get rid of. And then, you just keep on drinking. And for an island that is as small as ours to be listed, as one of the top
consumers of
alcohol. It's something that's really concerning, Make time to unwind.
Yeah, but one thing I'm learning too, Runa, is that the morning period is actually way more important than we think of it, So like, for example, when you get off your bed, sometimes the minute time you open your eye, the first thing you pull for is your phone to see you messages during the night, what going on social media and stuff like that. But a couple of things I've been learning, because I've been reading a couple of stuff lately, the earlier you wake up and sort of command your day, exercise, have breakfast, and when you roll off your bed, instead of jumping for the phone, probably just take a few minutes to just be with your thoughts, meditate. Just think it through. What am I going to do today? What am I going to accomplish? Instead of you just back on that phone that is there, it's not going away, the Wi-Fi ain't going away, it's there, the message isn't going away, it is there. Sometimes, too often I hear it, oh, you're the first thing I text when you're the first person I text when I wake up in the morning, and the last person I text when I go to bed at night. It shouldn't be that way. Yourself.
Take a minute for yourself first.
Even in the night, you detox yourself before you fall asleep. And I'm not here to talk about God or anything like that, but whatever being you believe in, connect with your being. I'll put it that way. Take a few moments in the morning, whatever your belief or whatever, take a few moments to connect. It is important,
So when it says talk to others, share your problems and how you're feeling and coping with a parent, a friend, a counselor, a doctor, a pastor. Connect with others. Talk with people you trust about your concerns and how you're feeling. Avoid drugs and alcohol. These may seem to help, but they can create additional problems and increase the stress you are already feeling. And most importantly, recognize when you need more help. If the problems continue or you're thinking about suicide, talk to somebody, psychologist, social worker, professional counselor. And speaking of which, I think that is an area we really need more people to get involved in, I remember a couple months or weeks or years ago having this conversation with the Ministry of Social Development, and that was one of the things mentioned, that we don't have enough to serve the capacity to serve Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. It's like they're overworked. and they're stretched thin. We just don't have enough. So maybe that's an area we can encourage more people to get into, and maybe it's something we need to encourage from the schools up to tell children, etc. It is okay to talk. Talk to a therapist or talk to somebody and normalize that. So yes, while these folks are employed, they're doing that is something they do to earn their bread. They'll have folks to at least because at the end of the day it's still a career, it's a job,
Yeah.
and the whole point of having a job is making money and what have you. And a lot of the time you choose careers based on how much you will make and and what have you. And you might say, well, people don't believe in that here. People don't believe in talk therapy and stuff like that, so it may not be worth the while. But I think it's an area that we certainly need more people to get into, more people to get to be a part of. So somebody decides to talk, they know where they can go, so I really, really, really want to just re-emphasize the importance of talk and listening and encouraging others, and when they come to you in confidence, please let it stay in confidence. Please let it stay in confidence. It wasn't meant to be shared with your friends or other friends.
Yeah, a lot of the time we just take people problems as a joke, because we don't have it all. Sometimes they just don't understand it, okay, you have not really taken the time to really think it through and so on. But everyone struggles in a different way. That's why we have different names. We deal with things differently, so never take what person going through for granted, as small as it may seem to you.
Someone here also says consider supplements. There are supplements that promote stress and anxiety reduction. They give a few like lemon balm, omega-3 fatty acids, ashwagandha, hope that's how they pronounce it. Green tea, I love green tea. It says it contains many polyphenol antioxidants which provide health benefits. It may also lower stress and anxiety by increasing serotonin levels. So it also says light a candle using essential oils, or burning a scented candle may help reduce your feelings of stress and anxiety. And there are some calming scents like lavender, rose, bergamot, sandalwood, orange or orange blossom, etc. that can help. And another thing that really worked for me that I also want to recommend is writing your thoughts down.
Okay.
Listen, my phone, it's like my notes, especially when I'm feeling overwhelmed, just write. And sometimes you're just writing, and by the time you're through, you're like, whew. It's the next best thing to talking to somebody, like releasing, because that's a way of releasing. So all the thoughts you have, you write it down. While writing, recording what you're stressed about is a good approach. It's also jotting down what you're also grateful for. So it's not just like complain, negative. Gratitude also helps you relieve stress. You might think of, okay, it's bad that way, but it's also good that way, so you sort of provide some sort of balance to your own self. I remember back in the day when we kept journals, it was a big thing to have a journal. I remember going to school and you made sure you bought your little journals, the ones with the key. We call it a diary, we called it back in the day. And you have your little key and you'll write everything down. You almost made it a point every day to write something down. You have to every day record something, because it's like wasted if you don't make use of your diary, because diary was a big deal. Going to school, everybody had a diary. And it was like something you kept close. You never let it out of your sight. Never ever. You kept it close to you. You hide it. You do all sorts of things with it. I still have my diary from secondary school. No, for real.
Serious?
I really do. I mean, it's like it's faded a little bit in certain areas with the ink and what have you, but I still have my diary. So that is a good way people can release if you're not at the point where you can talk to somebody comfortably. Journal, write down your thoughts, just get it out. Getting it out can really, really, really help. Let me see if we can get a couple of the comments here. Someone says it's very expensive to go study because you must have a master's. Sarah said, then that is where someone is saying the government comes in to provide scholarships, because they are saying from a ministry's perspective they are understaffed, right? And having last time I checked, I don't think we did. We have a lot. Did we have as much as 10? I'm not sure. I'm not sure we have all of that. Maybe someone from the ministry can help me here. But maybe that's one way we can get folks to be interested in it. You know, help him with scholarships and stuff like that. Let me see if we can take this voice note before we go.
So, speaking on the topic about the guy that got shot from the police and died, I know him personally. They call him Trigger, right? I don't know his name, his government name, but I know him as Trigger. And yes, he was deported. But the news make it sound like if he was deported and he was not a well-behaved citizen. He was a well-behaved citizen. Whatever stress he was going through, whatever problems he was going through that came to him doing what he did yesterday, I don't know. But I know the gentleman, and he works on Morris Bishop Highway in the Service Tech company for coats. And I know the gentleman, and from me knowing him from the time he came back to now, till he being deceased yesterday, he's a really awesome guy. He's a really cool, calm guy. He's a normal guy. He's not one of those guys that came back from foreign and was depressed and and going through the most. He built a house. He built a house for him and he and his family, and and he's still, I know up to this day, he's working to pay off that mortgage on that house. So I don't know what led to what happened yesterday, but I really hope that people don't brand him as a deportee, bad behaving person, because he's not.
You see where that person went wrong already? The part about he had no reason to be depressed. We never know. Depression does not have a face. You don't walk around depressed all the time and you're like,
somebody could say or do that one
and you're
thing.
Walking around with your hand on your head and oh God, stress. Depression does not have a face, and that is why we go wrong all the time. Because he did not show it does not mean he was not going through certain things. That is the thing that is the mistake we keep on making, thinking that okay, the person didn't act depressed or they're not behaving in a way that resonates with depression, so they're not depressed. They're okay. So you don't understand why they just ups and did what they did. They're not depressed. Depression does not have a face, folks. It does not. Someone could be smiling and happy and what have you, and internally they're fighting that battle every single day to maintain that smile on their face.
That takes me back to the one a couple of weeks ago where the guy hung himself in the cell. And I looked at the news and the mother was saying, she was basically saying there's no way that her son would do something like that. But listen, you don't know what that guy feeling now that he in prison. You don't know how he's dealing with it, how he's coping with it, what could have led to that, So sometimes we don't, when last year put him sit down and probably talk to him, what you're going through, what's going on with you, how's this, how's that, So you never know. Sometimes we just shouldn't stick on neck out there and say, nah boy, this person would never do that.
You don't know.
You don't know.
We're good at acting. We're good at putting on those outside faces. And when you go home, when you're by yourself, then the walls come down. We're good at building up those walls to maintain this facade that, hey, I'm good over here. I'm great. We're human. Blood flows through our veins. And everybody end great every day. It all depends on your coping mechanism. Some people are better at coping than others are. Dealing with situation than others are. And having a strong support system can really help as well. Especially when you're by yourself and you think there's no way to turn. There's nobody here for you. You're going through a hard time, probably having a hard time paying the bills, and there's nobody you can ask for help to assist you or anything. So it could people are going through a lot, and they're staying silent. Marlene says social services only have 5 psychologists and staff to serve the entire island, and that is very disheartening. See what I said? Imagine that. Anyway, we totally bung away from the topic we had this morning, but I thought this was
But
really
that's okay, yeah,
important,
that's
you know. And again, to that mother, like I said, I don't know what's going on, don't know what she's going through, and what made her do what she did. For those of you just joining the live, you know, we based it on the news coming out about 2 young children who were saved by their father this morning after their mother allegedly attempted to throw them into the sea around the stadium area. She's since been arrested and charged, and the children are reportedly safe with their father. So we sort of built a conversation around that. Yeah.
Hats off to the dad, though.
I'm not sure what is the situation, what's going on. Acted fast. Yeah, that's a different conversation with that incident that happened yesterday. And anyway, guys, someone says it's becoming easier and easier to give up hope. Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much, folks. Thanks so much for chiming in and, of course, listening to us. You know, on listening to us this morning. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, for another episode of the Ladies' Room. Probably what we really intended to discuss today. We're gonna discuss it tomorrow. All right. So those of you who started the conversation on my Facebook, no worries. We'll continue tomorrow. Have a good one, y'all. Thank you so much to our friends at Beacon Insurance and Western Union for making this possible.